Hey there, good folks. It is Ken Kiernan from Fasting Rip 50. It's a glorious day here in Brisbane. Hope everyone's keeping well. Had a question via Instagram. The question was as follows. What is your current training split look like? All right, first off, let's define what a training split is. That's typically in a week. It doesn't always have to be a week, but more often than not, in a week, how many sessions are you doing? What body parts are you performing on those days? Now, that will really vary. I'll be specific on what I'm doing currently, because that will vary as well. But that will always be dependent upon A, is someone a novice? Are they experienced? Do they recover well? B, do they have any injuries that they're working around? C, are there any weak points that they're trying to build up? D, what is their level, starting level? That's a really important thing. All of those things will factor into what I would put together as a training split from person to person. All right, hope that makes sense. Now, that said, let's go through what I'm currently doing. What I'm currently doing is I have a 4-day split. So I'm training 4 times per week in the gym. Monday looks like this. Monday is a lower body day. For a long time, I trained legs once a week, definitely a weak part. So it's something that I'm hitting harder. So on Monday, that is my lighter day, and I will run it in a slightly more circuit pattern. So what I mean by that is I'll have 5 or 6 movements that will work quads, glutes, hamstrings, etc. I will do higher rep ranges. When I say higher, I mean anywhere from 10 to 15. I may favor more unilateral, or in this case, one-legged exercises. And I will have very little rest between exercises. I'll take a little bit of a breather between rounds, but for me, one, I want to have this as my secondary leg training session. 2, I want to look at, because it is a circuit, I want to look at it as almost a HIIT session. So for me, this is also a big cardiovascular benefit. 3, it's early in the week. I don't want to absolutely slam my central nervous system with something ridiculously heavy that's going to affect my training going forward in that week. So that is what my Monday looks like. Get my breath, definitely gets my heart rate going. I get a little bit huffy puffy. I love it. All right, Tuesday rolls around. This is my torso day. So this is the day that I'm focusing on pushing movements. So that would typically involve an incline or a decline bench press. That would almost always involve a lat pull down for lat width. That would also have some sort of shoulder pressing movement. That day, I'm going to have a little bit more rest. This is a heavy day. So my rep range, typically 6 to 10. I'm exceedingly cognizant of what I've done the week before. So that is when I want to try to beat my logbook. So if I bench pressed, as an example, on the incline 110 kilos and I did that for 10 reps, next time I'm probably going to go to 115 kilos and I might be down a few reps until I can get up to, say, 10 reps, and then I'll up the weight. So that is something why it is very important to keep details, be aware of them. Typically, I'll have a little bit of arm work sometimes at the end of the session. Again, more rest and recovery between sets. Very much about strength on that day for the upper body. I find this a pretty taxing session. I'll have secondary exercises. So I will have typically one-arm rows, or I have rack deads. That's my other back thickness movement. I may have some sort of auxiliary shoulder work that I may do. I might not. The pressing may have been heavy enough that my shoulders are pretty trashed. And again, sometimes I will train, add a little bit of bicep, tricep work. Sometimes I don't, particularly if I've gone really heavy and the energy isn't there and I feel like my arms are flogged already from the pushing and the pulling. Wednesday's a day off, okay? And if I have a little bit of extra gusto on Wednesday, I might do a 10-minute session, HIIT session on a stationary bike, just to keep my cardiovascular conditioning up. And also I like HIIT training because it actually burns off some nervous energy. I got a lot of energy that I got to get through, and I like being able to, in a short period of time, hit it hard. Gets my heart rate up then, but it lowers my heart rate later, keeps my blood pressure tip top. So big fan of that. All right, Thursday comes along. Thursday's heavy leg day. So what that is, typically I'll be looking at doing things like heavy squats, leg presses, front squats, occasionally a heavy lunge of one sort or another. Romanian deadlifts are the staple of my hamstring movements. Like Tuesday, there's more recovery. So there's longer periods of rest because my rep range is lower. Again, I'm very aware of what I've done in the weeks leading up to that session. And that's probably the session that probably scares the shit out of me the most, is my Thursday leg training session. That is when I mentally have to be on board. That is when I will train, and I typically am fed going into those sessions, so I'm not fasted very often on a Thursday. In fact, just about never. And I also find that that's the session that requires the most recovery of any session that I will do during the week. And that's why I put a nice rest day on Friday. Saturday, I will do similar to what I do on Monday, but for the upper body. So Saturday is a session in which I will have a circuit of upper body movements. Almost always that first exercise will be a chin-up of one sort or another. I love my chin-ups. I tend to follow that up with dips, and I'll have some sort of pressing movement involved. The rep ranges tend to be a little higher, so not in that 6 to 8, 10, tend to typically be from about 10 to 15 from exercise to exercise. Really focus on a good pump. That is when I will also throw in a little bit of specific arm training. I might throw in some lateral raises, get a little bit of blood flow. I look at it as a secondary hit day as well, so I want to keep my heart rate up, and basically it gives me a chance to hit that upper body more than once per 7 days. So remember that if you train a muscle group once per week, you give that muscle one time per week to grow. You hit it twice a week, you're going to get some better you're going to get better growth and development, but you're also going to burn some more calories. You're going to set up a cascade of hormonal things that are going to be working in your favor. So that is what Ken's life in the gym currently looks like. Now that can change. Sometimes I'll train 3 times a week, and I might just alternate upper, lower, upper. If I have an injury, that's going to change my training. If I want to bring up a weak body part, I'll put that often first in a session. So all those things are things that as a trainer, as a coach, that I consider for other people as well. So in the comments below, tell me what your split's looking like. It's always kind of neat to be able to share what other people are doing. If you have any questions regarding training, coaching, mentoring, etc., online, because I'm not doing any more in studio. I got great, fantastic clients. Unfortunately, I don't have space for any more. But that said, I'm taking a little bit of time and doing some online work. So send any inquiries to ken@revfit.com, and I'll be certain to get back to you. Please, in the subject line, put online training in that, so I make sure that it doesn't end up in my spam folder. So that would be, or just deleted, because these days you get a lot of crap. I'm sure everyone out there gets a lot of crap sent to them. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you take a moment and that you do subscribe. You hit that bell for notification. You can follow me on Instagram, FastingRip50, likewise on Facebook. Got pages on both of those social media networks. And that's it. Hope you have a great week. Hope you train your ass off. Hope you get great results. All right. You keep well. Talk to you soon.